Sir, ये तो डंटी है.
I'm now in the process of starting a new film.
Okay.
Which is a fairly anxiety-inducing thing. That to me is actually a more feasible project than actually doing a delivery too.
Yeah, right.
That has been a question that one faces for all the time. It has been a conversation that all of us have dabbled in. He chimed in. He said, "Sir, आज तक ना आपने जो भी नाम कमाया है मिट्टी में मिल जाएगा सर. अगर आप इस पिक्चर को रिलीज करेंगे आपका नाम मिट्टी में मिल जाएगा." So there are interesting backstories to both of these.
So I think there is any chance for Disco Fighter to release?
This film is terrible. It's offensive. It is obscene. It is ugly. It is disgusting. It's a bad film.
How much is screen time by itself?
I wonder. Burn the negative. Don't let anybody find out that you have made this film. I think that they had to bring back one Spiderman from these films, the other Spiderman, every character from every film. They had to bring all of those in.
What do you think have changed? What, like from 10 years back to now? How has Imran Khan changed?
Since then, so now if you get online, it's not available on. Amir has taken all of the films off streaming.
What was the reaction when you sold your Ferrari and Rolls Royce for Polo GT? Like, how did people react?
But something about this film, I got this in my head as like, I'm the right actor for this role. All other actors are wrong for this role. Akshat, Abhinay and myself all basically collapsed. I'm not exaggerating, Akshat and I went to our respective homes and fell ill for 2 days. And you know what?
I don't think so.
No, from here the weight is
it's on
the weight is still balanced over there. It's rolling?
Yeah, it's rolling.
Started the...
Yeah, it's started. Alright.
Double check that. Yes.
It's rolling, right?
Yes, it's definitely rolling.
So yeah, let's start. Hi guys, welcome to S1T1's podcast episode number 1. Today we have a very very special guest here with us, the one and only Imran Khan. We recently did a Delhi Bleak film screening.
Yeah.
I have a very special goodie bag for you.
Thank you very much. At the outset, let me apologize to everyone who was at your screening. I got caught up in a little personal situation and I couldn't make it. And I feel absolutely terrible about it. So here's a personal apology to anyone who was there. I'm really sorry I couldn't make it. Hopefully we can get to any of the questions, anything that anyone had over there.
There are many of the questions are from the screening itself, so those will go. I would love if you check it out.
Okay, we can open this up before we... Oh man, it's all...
Please.
These as well.
Yeah.
All-time favorite. Another of my all-time favorite formative films.
And these are the brochures I made.
Oh man. How awesome.
It recalls you, man, when you scan it.
Yo, this is awesome. I'm so sorry I missed it. This seemed like such, it would have been so much fun.
There are tickets and everything.
Oh, nice.
Sir, ये तो डंटी है. Very special.
For Daily Belly.
Yeah.
And of course we've got
the orange juice.
And then
oh
yes. So there are interesting backstories to both of these that relate to what they originally were. Let's see. So trivia time. in the original screenplay, it was not written as orange juice.
Okay.
It was instead written as a very popular black-colored soft drink. I don't want to officially name it.
Okay.
But it was a black-colored soft drink.
You had to change that?
We had to change it because at the time, Amir was a spokesperson for this soft drink. And very shortly thereafter, I myself would become signed to the brand. So he was like, listen, we can't do that. So in the script, from the script, it changed to orange juice instead of that.
Amazing.
And the car, famously, in the script, it was named as a very specific car.
Okay.
And the car's name was taken by the characters as well, with all of the insults about it. And our legal department came back and said, you can't do this because it will be, we'll get sued, we will.
Right.
There was a whole lot of, I guess, concern around that. They said if you are insulting this brand within the film, so we had to alter and modify the car.
Right.
So that legally it was deniable. We could say, ये तो आपकी गाड़ी है ही नहीं.
हमने कब नाम लिया?
हमने नाम लिया है, and we have removed the badging.
Right.
So now अगर आपको लगे कि ये आपकी गाड़ी है,
तो आपकी गलती.
then
आपकी गलती.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, those are two things that we had to tweak from the script just to avoid lawsuits.
Nice.
So that reduced the total number of lawsuits.
I'm assuming there were many of them.
There were many lawsuits that came against the film for corrupting the youth and insulting sensibilities, and many of those lawsuits came. But at least we were not sued by the software people or the car people.
Two saved.
Two saves.
Yeah. So, Imran, how does it feel to be in front of the camera? I mean, आदत थोड़ी छूट गई होगी.
आदत काफी छूट गई है.
Right.
It has been quite an interesting experience. In the last few months, I have suddenly slowly been kind of reconnecting, re-emerging, finding myself in front of the camera far more often. And it has this strange feeling of familiarity of a kind,
right?
But also the sense of, oh wow, it's been so long. Like,
it's been a decade, right?
It has properly been a decade. Right. My last film I shot in 2015 and released in 2015. So that is properly 10 years. I'm now in the process of starting a new film.
Okay.
Which is a fairly anxiety-inducing thing.
Okay.
This sense of all of those things which with given enough time, it fades away into the distance. Now I'm thinking, every morning you have to wake up and go to the thing. You have to remember all of the lines.
वापस पूरा you have to get back into it, right?
So there is all of the anxiety of. In a way, it's the same kind of thing that I felt when I was doing it for the first time, for my first film, my second film. Right. There was a sense of, oh God, what am I doing? I have to go to all of these people, they know their job, do I know my job? Right. Yeah, there is
yeah. Are you excited? Like, I think you're coming back right now, right?
I am tremendously excited, yeah. So it is a blend of fear and excitement. Right. Excitement because I love the thing. Fear because of the anxiety of can I do this thing? Will I be able to pull it off? Right. I call that the fear that keeps you honest. Right. The fear that kind of drives you and keeps you working harder. Saying, right. Can I do better? Can I do better? Will I do this to the best of my ability? I think that is a healthy fear. Right. That pushes you to the best of your ability. Right. So there is a healthy fear and an unhealthy fear, right. And you have to walk that tightrope. Yeah, right. Maintain the healthy fear, don't fall prey to the unhealthy. Right.
I really want to ask, like, when you were given the script of Delhi Belly, what was your reaction? Like, considering how offbeat and completely unconventional was it?
Yeah.
What was, like you said, ki this was your lock, stock and two smoking barrels.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had Lock, Stock was this formative film for me. From the time I had seen it, I had this sense and this desire that I wish I could one day make a film like this kind of crime caper comedy with a darker humor edge. So when I was not initially given the script because the process of making Delhi Belly it was quite closely guarded.
Okay.
It went through a number of changes in the pre-production stage.
Right.
It changed a few directors.
Okay.
A couple of directors joined the project, left the project, joined the project. Akshat Verma wrote the script.
Okay, right, yeah.
But the directors, we had a couple of people came on board and left.
Right.
With each consecutive filmmaker, there were new rounds of screen tests. I tested multiple times for the film, and at each point, you were only given a scene to test.
Okay.
You were not given the whole film.
Right.
So I did not know the whole film.
Okay.
But I knew from reading just those scenes. If my memory serves, the first scene that I actually tested with was a scene with Tashi, Nitin, and Menika, where they go to this crime scene to photograph a corpse.
Right, yeah.
So that scene with Tashi, Nitin, and Menika, that was the first scene that I read and that I tested.
One for me, one for you, obviously.
Yeah. And just from the tonality of the dialogue and the way the scene was written, something went off in my head, one ding, and I said, "This is that."
Okay.
And it must have been about a 2.5 year process from the time that Delhi Belly was first picked up by Amir Khan Productions till the time it actually went into production. Over those 2.5 years, I tested at various times.
Okay.
And each time I had this growing, building sense. As in the creative space, oftentimes, someone will write a script and they'll approach different actors. One actor may not like it, another actor may like it. All creative projects go through this cycle of finding the correct people.
Right.
Is this person is that? And many times, different actors may play a role differently, but they may be very good in their own way. So I have never had a strong, I guess, personal creative ego के नहीं मैं ऐसा हूँ, मैं best हूँ. Far from it. The sense is, but something about this film, I got this in my head as like, I am the right actor for this role. All other actors are wrong for this role.
Right.
I just had a gut level conviction and belief that nahi, I get this. I get this role, I get this thing. No other actor will be correct for this in the way that I am correct for it. This is my conviction. Honestly, I have not felt that way about really most of my other films. Many of them, I'm happy enough with what I did, but I wouldn't say that another actor may not have done equally good or even better a job.
Right.
You can say. With Delhi Belly, I feel that way. Like, no, this is me, and it's not for anyone else.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so also it was with the rest of the cast, because over the years I also tested with different actors.
Right.
And you would get a feeling of how you read the scene, and it finally came down to the first screen test that I did with Kunal and Bleak. I was meeting both of them for the first time. I didn't know them from before. They had tested at various points, and at some point finally it came down
all
to
three of you together.
The director saying, put these three guys in a room together. The three of us were put in a room. And the scene we were given, of all things, two scenes. One is the scene, I think, right after we escape from Veer being hung.
Right.
And we're sitting in a gas station. And
You're in the car.
With the car, and Kunal is saying, "Why are you bored? What happened? Did they have to shave your head?"
Like, तुझे पहले गंजा क्या किया?
Yeah. We did that scene and the scene around the cabin board where Kunal, where Nitin talks about blackmailing. He has photographs.
Yes, right.
So those were the two scenes which we tested on, and there was again that sense as we played the lines, and I watched these guys. I was like, these guys are right.
Right.
This is correct.
Right.
And there is still the part of an actor that has some personal doubt. So I walked out of that test saying, well, I don't know for sure if I'll get it or not, because this was around 5 or around 6 of tests. So I still don't know if I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure those two guys will get it.
Right. Okay.
And later on, each one of them told the same story where they went back saying, I don't know if I'll get it, but those two will definitely get it.
You all three knew that this was for you guys.
Yeah. The chemistry was apparent.
Yeah.
We could tell. While we were reading it, we were like, correct. This is correct.
Yeah.
So the feel of that thing, there are times where you get a sense and you just, you know it.
Yeah.
You know that this is how this is correct.
Right.
That is a great feeling. It does not always come, it does not often come.
Yeah. It's very special feeling. A special movie from your guys.
Yeah. There are many times where you don't know. It may turn out well, but you may not be very clear in the process.
Right.
How is the film going? I don't know. Is it good enough? How are we doing? I don't know. We'll see.
Uncertainty. Right.
Uncertainty. Very. There was never uncertainty. We all felt very confident about what we were making.
Right. You know that this was going to stick. But what do you think the audience would think? Like, I don't think the audience that time was ready for it.
We had not really imagined that far ahead. You know?
Okay.
There was a part in all of our heads where we were genuinely looking at it day to day and saying, we don't know if this can be released.
Yeah.
We don't know if it will pass the censor board.
Exactly.
And if they will allow this film to release. So we were excited that we are getting to make it because the process of making is fun.
Right.
We never really had a strong sense of that whether it will release and how will people react. But we loved it.
Yeah, the making of it process.
And my belief is that for a creative endeavor, if it is a film, if it is a song, if it is a sculpture, the creators must have a strong sense of creative belief in it. If you as the creative person who is putting something into it, if you have a strong sense that I'm putting everything I have into this, it will resonate, it will land.
Right.
Not all things are for everybody,
right.
But for those for whom it is intended, it will land and they will feel all of that creative conviction and belief.
I don't know how shit scared was Amir Khan during the production of the entire film. Like, how is it going to happen? Was he scared?
No, we were the scared ones.
Okay.
He is the producer and he is the one who is backing the project all the way.
But that has some sort of like shoulder responsibility, like कैसे release होगी, कैसे audience कैसे करेगा.
So when we had finished shooting the film and we had assembled our first rough cut, very very rough cut, just an assemblage of here is all of the scenes in order, and we had a small test screening with Akshat, the writer, Abhinay. I was there, Amir was there, I guess 2 or 3 of his friends were there. और ऑफिस में जो 2-4 लोग थे, his personal security guy and couple of guys like this, they happened to be in the office. So we sat and we watched the film, in this rough cut, and when it ended, Amir's very very dear friend, he's a close family friend also. He said, Amir, what have you done? What have you made? He pointed at me, he said, "तू इसका career बर्बाद कर देगा क्या?"
Right. This was the first screening of the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's saying, Amir, to मेरी मान, you don't release this film, you bury the negative.
Okay.
Amir is a security guy at that time. He chimed in, he said, sir, आज तक ना आपने जो भी नाम कमाया है मिट्टी में मिल जाएगा सर. अगर आप इस पिक्चर को रिलीज करेंगे आपका नाम मिट्टी में मिल जाएगा.
Did someone say sorry to dirty है?
They just piled on and they were like, this film is terrible, it's offensive, it is obscene, it is ugly, it is disgusting, it's a bad film. The entire feedback was that burn the negative, don't let anybody find out that you have made this film.
Oh fuck, right. Okay then, what was the reaction on that?
Akshat, Abhinay and myself basically collapsed. I'm not exaggerating. Akshat and I went to our respective homes and fell ill for 2 days. And I went, oh God.
ये क्या हो गया?
Amir he didn't flinch. He looked at the whole thing. He's saying, "Nee, correct it. Saying you guys have shot the correct film. It's there. It's only the edit.
Right.
I mean, whatever was there in the script, you guys have shot it and you've delivered it. Don't worry about it. We just have to edit it correctly, and you will
succeed."
He didn't flinch.
He had that belief in the movie.
He believed in the thing, and we went through the process of recutting the film. Learned a very valuable lesson about how to pace a film and the pacing of comedy. Without getting too technical, we learned that the editing pace on that earlier draft had been too fast.
Too fast. Okay.
If you consider a viewer, you're watching a film. You hear a joke. It takes a fraction of a second for you to get the joke.
Right.
And then to laugh.
Yeah.
You take 1.5 seconds to laugh. And then the narrative resumes.
Right.
The film in that early stage was cut so tightly that if you paused to laugh, you would miss 2 lines of dialogue, which was taking the plot ahead.
Right.
So, in order to not fall behind, you were avoiding the laughing.
Right.
You just follow the plot, no time to laugh.
You're right. The joke's there, but you have to keep up with the movie. Right?
Yeah. So we understood that you have to give a little breathing room.
Right.
If you consider, it's a little passé today, but the classic sitcoms, Friends and all of this, they had the laughter track. There was space for laughter.
Right. Like the audience knows that ये laughing वाला moment है.
Yeah.
अभी also.
So you don't want to in a film you can't put the laugh track there, but you do have to allow the space for the viewer to laugh.
Right.
Within the edit of it.
Right.
Just give that much breathing room to the jokes.
Right. Tell me, do you think there is any chance for Disco Fighter to release?
There is totally a scenario or a world where one could make a Disco Fighter spin-off.
Okay. Like how would the story go, like, in your opinion?
The story would have to be, you'd have to lean into the absurdity of it. It would have to be... It would have to be over-the-top absurdist. Shades of... how Austin Powers was something like that, where you're really leaning into the camp.
Yeah, right.
That would be the correct approach. It could be quite cool. That to me is actually a more feasible project than actually doing a Delivery 2.
Yeah, right.
That has been a question that one faces for all the time. It has been a conversation that all of us have dabbled in. Even us who are involved in the project. And the real answer is just really hard. Like how do you make it happen?
Right.
You have to write something that is good enough. You have to bring everything together. It's a tall order. We've all dreamt of it. I can't never say never.
Of course, yeah.
But none of us have a strong sense of how it might be or how we might pull it off.
Right.
It would be a great thing, but we don't know how to do it.
Right. Maybe sometime.
But yeah, we're more likely disco fighter first.
Tell me, you said that this was your lock, stock into Smoking Barrel. Is there any other movie like you would want to make a movie like? Any other film that you really like?
Yeah, there's. I guess the other genre that really speaks to me is a genre of like magic realism.
Right.
Tim Burton's Big Fish.
Right.
Second-hand Lions.
Right.
These kinds of films that, yeah, I guess it is magical realism. You could call it a fairy tale or a fable.
Okay.
A fairy tale fable, one that transcends ages. It can be for children and for adults.
Right.
I'm a big fan of The Princess Bride. It's one of my
amazing.
favorites.
It's amazing.
So these kinds of films, which are for the child in you, even as an adult, there's something about that genre that I really love.
Right. Like it resonates with you even when you're older. It resonates with when you're children. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I still watch The Princess Bride at least once a year, twice a year.
It's amazing.
And it never gets old.
The humor still hold up.
Yeah.
Suppose you had unlimited budget, you had no restrictions at all, and you were to direct a film. What would it go like? Like what would the story, what would the location and everything?
That's always going to. The answer to that will always change based on where you are at that moment.
Right.
Because it will be an extension of your personal journey. So at different stages, different points, there are the answer will always be different.
Like absolutely कुछ भी नहीं है restriction.
Yeah. So even without the fear of large scale of a budget, my instinct still as a creator, as a director, would be for the story to be more intimate.
Right.
As you get the larger your scale becomes, the more stuff starts to go out of your hands. If you're doing a very large scale, sci-fi action film, there's a whole area of visual effects which are not in my skill set.
Right.
So you're leaning on and handing a lot of that over to the previous guys and to the post pipeline.
Right.
If you're going heavy on action, again a lot of that is over to the stunt team, to second unit, and those guys do great work. Yeah, that's what I said. Those guys do great work, but there is more that you are, more stuff that you are administrating,
right,
rather than directly working.
Right.
My great joy about directing. I've only directed a short film recently. Yes.
Short.
And student films and all of this. But I really love the process of working with actors.
Right.
So the more intimate and human your story is, the more you get to work over there.
Right.
There is the visual language of it, which is I love that part. But working with the actors and finding heart, finding that little bit, that is a lot of fun.
Right.
So I would be more inclined to tell stories that give me space to play with that.
Okay. Do you have a Letterboxd account by any chance?
I created an account, I never use it.
It's like you don't use it?
No,
okay.
More than it being private, I don't. I do very little social media stuff. I use the internet very sparingly.
Okay.
I don't have Instagram on my phone.
Okay.
I don't follow anyone, so I don't consume Instagram.
Right.
I use it. It is a public facing part of who I am. So I use it from time to time. I log in from my computer or something. I will log in and make a post or repost or whatever.
Right.
But for my own part, I don't use it much.
Okay.
So even for Letterboxd, I started to figure that, oh, this means that every time I watch a film I have to go to here, I don't want to spend that much time.
I just watched them. Good, yeah.
Yeah. So that much time given into a device. Yeah.
How much is screen time by any chance?
I wonder. Let's see.
The big reveal.
I was curious about these things. Let's see.
Like search for
display.
No, back.
Where does it give you a screen time?
Here, screen time.
Screen time.
What the fuck? It's 1 hour 20 minutes. Damn, you really don't use your phone that much.
As little as I can.
That's great.
Yeah. I only recently got WhatsApp.
What? Okay.
And again, it was because I was forced to for professional stuff. As I started to work, it was like, we need to send you this thing.
तो अब तक क्या लैंडलाइन वगैरह से communication होता था?
I would have been very happy with that.
लैंडलाइन में तो क्या टेंशन था?
I would be very happy functioning that way.
चिट्ठी?
Because that is how I grew up.
Right. Tell me, so like there's always a movie that you want to be remembered by, like that's your legacy. I really want to know कि what's that film for you? Like the movie Imran Khan would be remembered by.
For me, more than one, my sense is that it's going to be a twofer. It's going to be Jaane Tu and Delhi Belly. Because they're both tremendously, I believe, tremendously beautiful films. And their value is slightly different. The way I would put it is that Delhi Belly is a film that was for the film student in me.
Right.
And it has that kind of fun, edgy appeal, which, which for me as a viewer when I watched Lock Stock, that thing that it did of, oh wow, we can make films like this.
Yeah.
My sense is that it is the film that does that for others. Jaane Tu, as it has aged, and as I myself have aged, and I go back and I re-look at it, I find new appreciation for it. I find that the film has a gentle quality to it.
Right.
It has a kindness to it that I really appreciate. And so while it's not the film student film and the cool and edgy film that Delhi Belly is, it has an emotional resonance, I feel, that really lingers and that carries it.
Right.
So my sense is that it will be a combination of these two films that will and that will be my legacies.
I saw very cool Batman toy figure.
Yeah.
And you want to know what are your top 5 superhero films? Then do you enjoy superhero films?
My tattoo is Batman, in fact.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, it's a samurai Batman.
Samurai Batman. Cool.
It's I can't show all of the things here, but that's what it is.
Okay.
So I'm a lifelong comic book fan.
Okay.
Big Batman geek. There's a bat signal somewhere over here.
I see Pirates of Ferrari.
Yeah. So all of the stuff is there. I was a comic book fan at a time when it was very difficult to be a comic book fan. In the 90s, you didn't get comic book movies.
Right.
There were very few of them. Lots of space in between, and oftentimes they were not very respectful or faithful adaptations.
Right. Like they were, I think, काफी money printing के लिए they were done. Like
at that point, Hollywood didn't know what to do with them.
Okay.
So they
had the rights and everything.
They would buy the rights, and then they would get scared of making it too comic booky.
Right.
So if you think back to the early X-Men films that Bryan Singer was making, they were so terrified of the look of a comic book movie that everyone's wearing black leather.
Right.
The Matrix had just come out, so it was very cool in its own way. But it's like they were afraid to make it comic booky. like, "Nee, it should look realistic for whatever that thing was." And, so there was a whole period over there where they would make a film that was based off a comic book, but change it up so much that for the comic fan it's unrecognizable.
It's not the comic book film anymore, right?
Yeah. It was, for me, I think it was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man that really ushered in the modern era.
Yes, right.
Where he unabashedly leaned into the look of the Spider-Man costume and said, "Nahi, aisa hoga. It will be comic book accurate."
Right.
And the treatment of it, the movement style, all of it, where he really leaned into the comic bookiness of it.
Right.
Up until that point, as a comic book fan, it was a very disappointing life. It was often very disappointing.
Sad. Like, have you keep up with the superhero films right now, like Marvel, DC, and everything?
In recent years, I have become oversaturated with it.
Yeah.
And my excitement about it has declined significantly. The early stages of the MCU were very exciting as a comic book fan, because they were being authentic to the comic books. The costumes, the situations, they were doing it a very, very faithful adaptation rather than the scared adaptation before. So those early days were great. We've reached a place, I feel now, of oversaturation.
Right. Like pump. You have to pump new movies every single year. Every single month, right.
The movies, the shows, the over interconnectedness of it, and the fact that there's just now so much of it that it's like, आपको जो चाहिए वो superhero में मिलेगा. You want workplace comedy, it will be a superhero.
Right.
You want family drama with superhero. Action comedy with, which is an oversaturation of that thing. So now my investment in it has gone down.
Right. I think there's this point कि अभी इतने ज़्यादा movies आ गए, like superhero movies. The stakes are so high that it does not matter anymore.
Yeah.
They introduce new character every single movie and then they try to connect it.
Yeah. So it no longer feels as special.
Yeah. Exactly. Correct.
Now you're like, it's okay, and 3 of the shows I can miss. Chalega.
देख लेंगे. Like the original Spider-Man movies, they had such a charm to them. Like
to me, those are yet to be better. And many people will think I'm crazy for this, but to me, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is actually the high water mark of all superhero films.
Okay.
And so I'll nerd out extra for a second here.
Yes.
I particularly saw it in contrast to the last Marvel Spider-Man film, No Way Home,
Right.
where they brought in everything.
All the 3.
They brought in everything, everyone, even the characters from the Raimi-verse, all of them. And so, in the simplest terms, in that film, in No Way Home, by the time you get to the end of the film, Spider-Man is fighting Green Goblin, and Goblin is and there's this scene, it's quite brutal, where he's pounding the living daylights out of Green Goblin, and he beats him into a pulp.
Right.
Because of he's angry and hurt and all of this.
Comes into him,
So that I'm not talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh, which one?
I'm talking about No Way Home.
Okay, the ending part.
Yeah.
Right. He's pulling back the punches or something, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he's fighting Goblin. And because it's a Marvel film, they don't show the thing, but you get the sense that he's pounding, beats him into a pulp.
Right.
He ultimately defeats Goblin with the strength of his punch.
Right.
In simplest terms. If you think back to Spider-Man 2, there is a theme which gets introduced right in the beginning with Dr. Octavius.
Yes, right.
Dr. Octavius relates to Peter Parker, not to Spider-Man.
Yes.
And he tells Peter with that intelligence is a privilege. It is a gift to be used for the good of mankind.
Right.
And it comes with a responsibility. Again, echoing with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
Dr. Octavius tells this to Peter Parker because he sees a kinship in him.
Right.
By the time we get to the end of the film, Octavius's mind has been damaged.
The hands.
And he is fighting, and you have this big action sequence where Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus are punching, and all the physicality is done. They are not able to. He's not able to defeat him. Spider-Man pulls off the mask, and now it's Peter Parker.
Right, that's the moment.
Peter Parker talks to Dr. Octavius and says, "You had told me that intelligence is a gift. It is to be used for the good of mankind.
Right.
Peter Parker now relates to Dr. Octopus. The lesson which he had learned, which he had been told in the film, it comes full circle.
Right.
And that is the lesson which touches his heart. And he says, I will not die a monster. And he changes course and goes down.
Right. And he takes us like everything and goes to
the emotional theme of the film, that theme comes full circle, and that is what resolves the conflict. It is not the strength of his punches that he beats him into submission.
It's a theme. Right.
It is the theme, and it is Peter Parker who actually solves it, not Spider-Man with his strength. To me, it is a far superior film than the other one.
What was the reaction though? Like in the doorway when all the three characters Spider-Man came, what was the reaction?
In the moment, it's very thrilling.
Yeah.
It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, right.
But you think that they had to bring back one Spider-Man from these films, the other Spider-Man, every character from every film, they had to bring all of those in to create an excitement.
Right.
But ultimately, the film is not as satisfying as, for me, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is the absolute high point. Because of how beautifully it's done. You get all of the superhero action and drama that you could possibly want. But the emotional core of the story is so much more powerful.
Right. Have you played the Spider-Man games?
Yeah.
What do you think of
that? The web swinging action is just...
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to know ki this was your superhero, like top. What are your in general top 5 movies that have an impact on you? Like these are formative for you. Like as you said, Lockstock was one of them.
Yeah. I guess Lockstock, The Princess Bride is one that through my life I've always loved. Big Lebowski is the film that again I watch it at least once a year. It's I never get tired of it. The Birdcage, Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, just some of the most amazing comedic performances that have ever been put on film. It's just absolute genius. These are films that I revisit
every single year.
At least once a year, if not more.
I saw that you have been getting into very much like drift racing and cars. I really want to know when did it start and like how is it going? Like, I am not that much into drift racing, so I would love if you explain it. Like how is it going?
I've always, since I was a kid, been enthusiastic about cars. I have a lot of love for the automobiles.
Right.
And as a byproduct, I guess, of watching car movies, in the movies you would have, car guys who would be able to tweak the car and modify it and whatever the thing is, and you're like, yeah, that's cool, I want to learn this thing, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So in the last few years, I have started spending a lot of time on the internet, on YouTube, on the forums and things, trying to learn what I can.
Right.
So that I can adjust and modify my car. I have a Polo GT that I have been building and modding. Yeah. So you get to kind of experiment and play with it and build your vehicle out.
Right.
Along with that is also a desire to increase one's own driving skill, to learn precision driving, to learn performance driving. And so in recent months I've had a lot of opportunities to meet guys who are in that world. Some very cool guys, Jeet Tapasvi, Sanam Sekho, who are kind of very serious petrol heads. So just getting to hang out with these guys, and they are multidisciplinary.
Right.
They drift, they rally, they bike race, all manner of. So getting to hang out with guys like this and kind of learn the craft. I won't even say that I have any actual skill. I am in the process of wanting to learn. Because these are skills that I want to learn in life. Somewhere I would like to make films, make a film that allows us to play with this.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a classic cinematic thing, right?
Yeah.
The car film where you get to do fun stuff with cars, shoot car stunts, car action.
Have you seen Speed Racer?
Of course, I love the film. I thought it was criminally underrated.
Same.
Big fan of the film. So yeah, to do a car film would be great. So currently I am seeking to learn more about the world, about motorsports, about the craft of driving, and in that process I get to meet people who ultimately I think will help me on the journey.
Right.
So in the future, yeah, there's a car film.
Right. What was the reaction when you sold your Ferrari and Rolls Royce for Polo GT? Like, how did people react?
People, who knows, yeah. It all was as a part of the process of streamlining my life, my sense of there's too much stuff, there is stuff which I don't need or use or value or what have you. In the past 10 years, I've done a fair bit of, whatever, personal journey, which is separate to one's career as an actor. And within that, there was a sense of how many of these are things that I want and need, and how many of these are just. There's this line in, I think it's in Fight Club. Tyler Durden drops. So the things that we own end up owning us.
Right.
And I started to feel that.
Right.
Like, do I own this thing or this thing own me?
Right.
So you
let go.
Yeah, if you move those and say, okay, what are the things that then I actually get value from? Then it's separate from the monetary value. The idea of a Polo GT costs a lot less than a Ferrari.
Ferrari, right?
But the Ferrari, I never. I barely drove it at half at a quarter speed very carefully.
Its capability, right?
And you never touch anything within it.
Right.
In the Polo GT, I'm curious about pulling bits out, adjusting bits. That I've got assorted bits and parts here that I've been putting into it. Let's see. Here's this was a throttle controller that I just installed.
Okay.
There's also light switch that I switched out myself. Anything that you're like, okay, I can improve this thing, I'll change it, I'll pull it out, I'll put a new piece in.
So this is your personal car, like this is like yours, right?
Yeah, so your personal involvement in it is higher. It feels like an extension of you.
Right.
So now this car, which is actually parked right there, is it feels like an extension of me. It feels very personal.
You said you have been on a personal growth this past 10 years. Like, what do you think have changed? What from 10 years back to now? How has Imran Khan changed?
So much of it is about me as a person, which is actually the core of it. Our relationship with actors, with people in the public eye, tends to always be from a much more zoomed out perspective. Yeah?
Right.
And for us, we define that person and encapsulate them by their movies, by their career, by what you know from the outside.
Right, of course.
But that is something that we see from the outside without an actual sense of the person.
Right.
So much of you are more of a person than you are that outward persona. In an ideal scenario.
Right.
I think there are maybe people who have lost themselves within the persona.
Right. They don't know what's me and what's the persona, right?
Yeah.
Differentiating.
Yeah. For me, I felt the need to spend that much time separate, to figure out and to find who I am, separate from the movies. This is what I do. It's not who I am.
Right.
It's something that I do as work and as passion. But it's not the sum total of who I am.
Right. It's not the entire. Right.
Yeah. So the getting comfortable with that part of yourself and saying, okay, I am comfortable and secure in who I am, separate from who I am as an actor and what my career is and what my box office salary ranking,
right.
what all of those things are.
There is a person separate from that.
Yeah,
right.
and I'm fulfilled and secure within myself as a person, entirely separate to that. I have enough of an identity.
Right.
The journey was about finding that, reinforcing that, and then once you have enough of a sense of that, you are able to engage with the other part with less fear.
Right.
If you are not afraid that my entire value system is basis where my box office ranking of this film is.
Right.
And if the box office ranking of this film is not sufficiently high, then my value goes down.
Right.
As long as you are able to separate from that and say,
right.
वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. How much people like it or dislike it, how much money it earns, is never in your hand. So you can't link your entire sense of well-being to that.
Right. Like you separate, you have an identity different from the movie.
Yeah.
What would be your goals for the future now? Like, abhi ho gaya 10 saal ho gaya. Like, what are your goals now? Like physical, mental, career-wise.
I want to make some number of films.
Okay.
But I want to do it in a way that that supports and empowers the joy that I seek from it.
Right.
So I'm not seeking to chase great fame or money or stardom. I'm seeking to make some films, but each one of the films that I make, I would like for them to be personal.
Right.
For me to feel joyous and excited about the film itself and about the process of making it. To do it in a way to work with people who I like, to for the process to be collaborative and joyous. And over and above that, if an audience likes the film and if we are able to earn additional money off that.
Right, that's great.
That is an additional blessing.
Right.
It is like a cherry on top.
Yeah.
It is not the
Thing.
It is not the base expectation. Your base expectation is, can I make movies that I like with some friends?
Right.
If you get to do that, you're already winning. Consider how many people dream of making movies and never get close.
Right.
Every time you get to make a film, it's a win. You get to make a film which you like, it's another win. You're working with people you like, it's another win. इससे और क्या चाहिए? Be appreciative and grateful of every one of those. बाद में अगर वो फिल्म कामयाब हुई, if it is successful in that way, that is an even additional blessing.
Right.
That cannot be your only expectation.
I really want to know what would be a life lesson or an anecdote or something like that you would give to someone who is in their 20s, like they're younger. What would
my experience and my learnings are maybe slightly more aligned to films and to creative work in this space. But there is a part of it which I guess one could extrapolate outwards, which is that the more you are able to find your own voice and your own sense of who you are, what you really want from life.
Right.
It's a value system. There is an external value system which is taught to us. Okay, you must be like this, and this is success. Outside of the basics, which everyone has to pay rent and everyone has to put food on the table and pay their cell phone bill and all of these.
Right.
And there is a certain amount of work which one must do, or a certain type of work which one must do to fulfill those. Separate to that, what is your actual value system? What would you want to do? What do you need to do? And how can you adjust these parts of your life to empower what you really, really seek and desire, without the idea of the traditional career path growth? without linking yourself to, "Arey, I was the same, this guy is executive over there, मेरी Suzuki गाड़ी है, उसकी BMW गाड़ी है." These are externalities.
Right.
The actual success, as I see it, comes from being able to live a life that you dream of, a life that is on your terms. How much will I give in order to get these things?
Right.
What am I not willing to give in order to get something that I don't actually value?
You said that you don't really like Bleak movies. Like I saw it in an interview. Why is that like?
I guess it is a kind of a byproduct of my own emotional, mental journey in the past years, where I myself have had such a sense of grief, darkness, these feelings, that, and within that, corny as it may seem, but as a film fan perhaps you can also relate, that there is a therapeutic quality to cinema. There are films which one loves because of the feeling that they give you. At a sad time, at a dark time, at a low time, there are films that can uplift you and give you a sense of optimism, a sense of hope. There are times when you learn from a film. You know, you may see a story of a character who stands up against insurmountable odds, and you're like, yeah, this is the way. We all get life lessons like this. You don't give up. Cinema and movies have done that so much for me that is all now, I guess, my want or my need from movies. That I seek movies that reinforce that sense, a sense of joy, hope, optimism, a sense of what Raimi did with his Spiderman films. You know, what does it mean to be a hero? You rather than films that lean into nihilism and not to trash them. It's just, it's not what I need. For me, where I am, I really need the films that uplift and give me that feeling. And as a creative person, my sense is that I want to put my voice to those stories, because who knows who out there needs to hear something like that. Who needs to hear the voice of optimism.
What is your opinion on the OTT space and its impact on Bollywood? Like you said, you're not a fan of the OTT platform, I guess, right?
I'm not a fan of long form content.
Right. Sure.
That's just because in recent years I have found myself, you watch 10 hours or 20 hours of a series, and the writing is great, the characters are great, but the story doesn't resolve.
Right.
With movies, within about a 2-hour format, you get the end of the story, you get resolution.
Right.
So for me, I'm in a phase right now where I'm not wanting to watch 15 hours without resolution. Like, I'll watch 2 movies, I'll watch 3 movies, but I get the whole story.
Yeah, like क्यों इतना देखूं मैं क्या है?
Yeah.
Right.
So that is not it's not to throw shade at streaming. Those who enjoy.
Yeah.
I want to watch films that I want to watch stories that end.
Right.
So
right.
I watch films rather than series.
Right.
That's my thing. The OTT environment has permanently changed the landscape, and that comes with pros and cons.
Right.
You know, it has democratized the process so much. It has opened up opportunities for creators, for writers, directors, cinematographers, actors, everyone across the board. It has opened up employment and opportunities for makers to tell stories that otherwise would not have gotten funding.
That's true. That's true. Right.
So it has done a great service in that area.
Right.
It has changed the landscape in a fundamental way, which I think they are currently starting to reckon with. There is a fundamental flaw within the model that they have not considered, or that they're, I guess, not perturbed by. which is that in a classical model, you made a film, you released it theatrically.
Right.
If an audience likes it, they'll go back a second time, a third time, a fourth time. They can reward the maker. If they like your film, they can reward you by buying another ticket, another ticket, another ticket. बाद में जब वो DVD पे release हुआ करते थे, you could buy the DVD.
Yeah.
Now, the rights owners, say Sholay for argument's sake, they can sell the rights to Netflix for 2-3 years and they get money off it.
Right.
The rights work, then the next time they can sell it to another platform.
Right.
That one movie they can remonetize over the years.
Right.
With a streaming platform, anyone who makes a film, it goes into their back catalog. Now, once you have a subscription to a streamer, suppose you love one of their films, right? This is a great film. You watch it every day. They don't get any more money for it.
Right.
Once you have paid your annual subscription,
That's it.
that's all the money that they can get from you.
Right.
Even if you, as a fan, love their film so much, you want to reward them by reward. So you will watch that film again and again and again and again.
But there's no...
So every single one film from their back catalog, they cannot remonetize it.
Right.
Once it has been made, it goes into the catalog. उसकी अब कीमत नहीं है.
Right.
The way that a film that someone else would have made, over the years they can remonetize that one film. These guys have more content, more hours of movies and shows than has ever been seen by humanity, but they cannot remonetize it.
Right.
No matter how you. So that is a little glitch in this thing, which is at some point going to come in and bite someone in the behind. It's one of those bubbles that is growing, and at some point somebody has to reckon with it.
Like a DVD cover, I don't think would be like there's very little sin on DVD. Like no one goes and gets a physical print of the movie.
There is a little bit of a resurgence of that.
Okay.
Amongst enthusiasts, because people now want to have physical media.
Like collectible.
कि अगर वो catalog से निकल गया तो.
Right.
And there again, anyone who is buying DVDs to hold on to physical media, they are financially rewarding the makers of those films.
Right.
Like I love Fight Club, I'll go and buy the Blu-ray DVD. They're getting more money for it. That one property gets remonetized, and supported.
That is right.
Yeah. And that going forward, I think there will continue to be a market for that amongst enthusiasts and people who really love it. They will still want to own the media in some way.
Physically, right.
And the makers, the rights owners of those properties, they get financially rewarded.
Right.
Which is a thing that all of these streamers, they have not cracked that. They have not released any of them. You cannot own any of it.
You have it like the TV, right?
Yeah. So they can't individually monetize those properties.
Right. One last question before we end. What version of the movie would you recommend of Delhi Belly? The English one or the proper Hindi one? Like with the galis and everything?
So we shot it as the English one.
Yes.
It was far more English. And it was almost 3 years from the time we shot the film to the time it released. We shot in 2008.
Okay.
It released 2011.
Okay.
And it was literally maybe 4 to 5 weeks before the film released. Like we were in the middle of promotions.
Okay.
When the conversation came around, they said, hey, we should do a Hindi dub.
Okay.
So in the middle of promotions, 4 weeks, 5 weeks before the actual release, all of us rushed into the studio, and in about a week, we did an entire Hindi dub of the film. And I have actually not seen that version.
You have not seen the Hindi
if
dub?
I'm honest. Because it released theatrically, and since then, so now if you get online, it's not available on it. Amir has taken all of the films off streaming.
Yeah, there's no. You have to watch it.
So you have to find grey sources, grey market sources.
Grey market sources.
And and within that, I don't know which dub version is there, whether it's the state Hindi dub or the Hindi English dub. So I haven't seen the full Hindi version myself.
Okay.
My instinct would be that the original will be the stronger one, because there's some bits of the humor which are just within the language, within Akshat's words, that I think land well.
I guess that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for your time and being here with us.
Happy to, thank you.
Alright guys, thank you so much for being with us and watching.